Hey everyone, I'm John, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-host, Emily. Emily, let me ask you something right away. No warm-up, no small talk. Why does it feel like some people completely change their lives and others stay stuck for years?
Hmm. Wow, John, you're starting strong today. Honestly, that question hits a little too close to home. Because I've asked myself the same thing so many times. You look at someone and think, wait a second, last year they were struggling. And now suddenly they're confident, they're growing, they're moving forward. And you're like, how did that even happen?
Exactly. And the scary part is, it's not just about success, it's about movement. Some people move forward, even slowly, but they move. And others feel frozen, like life is on pause. Same problems, same fears, same excuses.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even notice it happening. You wake up one day and think, wait, am I in the same place as last year? Same job, same level of English, same confidence? That realization is painful, not gonna lie.
It really is. And Emily, this actually reminds me of my own English learning journey. When I first started, I felt completely lost. So many words, so many rules, so many times thinking, why is English like this?
Oh, John, same here. I remember sitting with a notebook, looking at grammar rules and thinking, there is no way my brain can handle this. It felt impossible.
Yes, impossible is the perfect word. And here's the thing. At that stage, I wasn't bad at English. I was just overwhelmed. But back then, I didn't know the difference.
Mm-hmm. That's such an important point. Because when something feels hard, we automatically think, oh, I'm just not good at this. Instead of thinking, I'm just new at this.
Exactly, Emily. And that mindset, that one small thought, it doesn't just affect English learning. It affects your entire life.
Absolutely. And that's where people get stuck. They think the problem is talent or luck or intelligence. But most of the time, it's none of those things.
Right. It's habits, it's mindset, it's consistency. And honestly, it's patience.
Patience is underrated, very underrated. Everyone wants fast results, fluent English in 1 month, a new life in one decision. But real change doesn't work like that.
Nope, not at all. Real change is quiet. It happens in small moments when no one is watching, like practicing English even when you feel tired, or choosing to listen instead of scrolling.
That's true. And it's funny because those small actions feel insignificant, but over time, they become everything.
Exactly. And that brings us to today's topic. How do you actually change your life? Not in a motivational quote way, but in a real, practical, human way.
I love that you said human, because change is messy. It's not aesthetic. It's not Instagram perfect. It's awkward, uncomfortable, and sometimes embarrassing.
So true, especially when you're learning English. You say something wrong, people don't understand, and your brain just goes, why did I open my mouth?
Oh my goodness, yes. I still remember mispronouncing a word in public and thinking about it for 3 days straight.
Same here, Emily, same here. But here's the twist. Those moments, as uncomfortable as they are, they're actually signs of growth.
Exactly. If you're making mistakes, you're doing something right. If everything feels comfortable, you're probably not growing.
That's such an important message. And honestly, I wish someone told me that earlier.
Me too. I would have saved myself so much stress and self-doubt.
Which brings us to a big question. Why do so many people want change but never actually start?
That's the heart of it. I think the first reason is fear. Fear of failure, fear of looking stupid, fear of wasting time.
Yes, and fear of judgment. What will people think if I try and fail? What if my English sounds bad? What if I don't improve?
Exactly. But John, let me flip that question. What if you try and succeed?
That's the question nobody asks. Everyone imagines the worst-case scenario, but rarely the best-case scenario.
Right. And the second reason people get stuck is lack of direction. They know they want a better life, better English, more confidence, but they don't know where to start.
So they wait. They wait for clarity. They wait for motivation. They wait for the perfect plan.
And that waiting becomes a habit, a very dangerous habit.
Exactly. And then there's negative self-talk. Those quiet thoughts like, I'm not good at languages. I'm too old to learn. Others are just smarter than me.
Those thoughts feel true, but they're not facts. They're beliefs. And beliefs can be changed.
Yes, that's a powerful thing to realize. Your thoughts are not permanent. They're habits too.
Exactly. And finally, one of the biggest traps? Waiting for motivation. People say, I'll start when I feel ready.
But the truth is, you'll never feel fully ready. Motivation comes after action, not before.
That's such a key idea. When I started practicing English daily, I wasn't motivated at all. I was tired, busy, unsure. But once I started, motivation followed.
Same here, Emily. Action creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence.
Exactly. So if you're listening right now and you feel stuck, please hear this. You're not broken. You're just at the beginning.
That's such a powerful note to pause on, because understanding what's holding you back is the first real step toward change.
Absolutely. And in the next part, we're going to talk about how small daily changes, tiny habits, can completely transform your life.
Yes, we'll break it down step by step, so don't go anywhere. This is where things start getting really practical.
All right. So, Emilia, now that we've talked about what holds people back, the big question is, how do we actually move forward? Not in theory, but in real life.
Yes, because understanding the problem is one thing, but fixing it, that's a whole different story. And honestly, John, most people overcomplicate this part.
They really do. People think change has to be dramatic, like quitting your job overnight, moving to another country, becoming a completely new person.
Yeah, like a movie transformation montage. One song, one decision, and boom, new life.
Exactly. But real life is much quieter than that. Real change doesn't shout, it whispers.
That's such a good way to say it. Change usually starts with something so small that you almost don't respect it.
Yes, like deciding to practice English for 5 minutes. Not 1 hour, not 2 hours, just 5 minutes.
And that sounds too easy. So people think, that can't possibly work.
Right, because our brains love big actions. They feel important, but consistency beats intensity every single time.
That reminds me of the 1% rule. Have you heard of it?
Of course, I love that concept. If you improve just 1% every day, after 1 year, you're 37 times better.
37 times? That number always surprises me. Because 1% feels like nothing.
Exactly, but that's the magic. Small improvements compound, just like money in a bank account.
And most people underestimate compounding. They want fast results now instead of amazing results later.
Yes, they quit too early, right before things start working.
That's the saddest part. Because usually, people are much closer to success than they think.
Absolutely. Let's talk about habits for a moment, because habits are the engine of change.
Yes, and habits are not about motivation. They're about systems.
Exactly. James Clear talks about this beautifully. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
That quote changed the way I see progress. Because goals are nice, but habits decide your future.
Yes.
For example, saying, "I want to learn English" is a goal. But saying, "I listen to English for 10 minutes every day," that's a system.
Exactly. And systems remove decision-making. You don't wake up and ask, should I practice today? You just do it.
And that's powerful. Because willpower is limited, but habits run on autopilot.
That's so true. When I was learning English, I stopped relying on motivation. Instead, I attached English to my routine. Morning coffee, English podcast. Evening walk, English music.
That's a great strategy. You didn't add pressure, you added English to things you already do.
Exactly. And that made it sustainable. No stress, no burnout.
Let's talk about identity for a second, because habits are deeply connected to who we think we are.
Identity-based habits. This is huge.
Most people say, "I want to learn English," but a more powerful statement is, "I am an English learner."
Yes, that shift changes everything. Because now your actions follow your identity. An English learner practices, even when it's uncomfortable.
Exactly. Just like a runner runs, even on lazy days, because that's who they are.
And the beautiful part is, you don't need to wait for proof. You build identity through action.
Right. You don't say, "I'll practice when I'm confident." You say, "I'll practice to become confident."
That's such a mindset shift. And it applies to life too, not just English.
Absolutely. Let me give a real-life example. I once met someone who became fluent in English, not through classes, not through textbooks, but by listening to English podcasts every single day.
Every day?
Every day. Even when they didn't understand much, they just listened.
That takes patience. Because at first, it feels useless.
Yes, but slowly, your brain starts recognizing patterns. Words repeat, structures repeat, and one day you realize, wait, I understand this.
That moment is magical. It feels like a switch flips in your brain.
Exactly. And that's the reward of consistency.
Let's talk about another mistake people make, trying to change everything at once.
Oh yes, that one is dangerous. People decide, "I'll wake up early, study English, exercise, eat healthy, all starting Monday."
And by Wednesday, they're exhausted and disappointed.
Exactly. Change works best when it's small and focused, one habit at a time.
That's so important. Because success loves simplicity.
Yes. So if someone listening right now asks, "Where should I start?" The answer is simple. Start small.
So small that it feels almost silly. Like one new English word a day. Or one short conversation.
Exactly. Because small habits lower resistance, and consistency builds confidence.
And confidence changes behavior.
That's the chain reaction. Small action, consistency, confidence, transformation.
I love that sequence. And in the next part, we need to talk about mindset, because habits don't survive in a negative mind.
Exactly. In part 3, we'll break down growth mindset, fixed mindset, and how your thoughts quietly shape your future.
So stay with us, because this is where things get really deep and really powerful.
All right, Emily. Now this is the part I've been waiting for. Because habits are powerful, but mindset decides whether habits survive or die.
I completely agree, John. You can have the best plan in the world, but if your mindset is working against you, that plan won't last very long.
Exactly. And most people don't even realize that the biggest battles happen inside their head.
Yes, not outside. Not with time, not with money, but with thoughts.
Let's start with something very common. Fear. Fear of failure. Fear of mistakes. Fear of looking stupid.
Oh yes, that fear is everywhere, especially when learning English. People say, I understand English, but I'm afraid to speak.
Exactly. They're not afraid of English. They're afraid of judgment.
Afraid of sounding wrong. Afraid of accents. Afraid of pauses.
Let me say this very clearly. Mistakes are not a sign of failure. They are proof that learning is happening.
Yes, if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not trying.
Exactly. Babies don't learn to walk without falling, and nobody laughs at them.
Well, sometimes they laugh because it's cute. Laugh softly.
True, but not because they failed. Because falling is part of learning.
And language is the same. You don't learn by being perfect. You learn by being brave enough to try.
That brings us to mindset. Growth mindset versus fixed mindset.
This concept is life-changing. A fixed mindset says, I'm bad at languages. I'll never be fluent.
While a growth mindset says, I'm not fluent yet, but I can improve.
That one word, yet, it opens the door.
Yes, people with a growth mindset see challenges as opportunities. People with a fixed mindset see challenges as threats.
And guess who improves faster?
Exactly. Let's talk about the brain for a moment, because this is fascinating.
Oh, I love this part. The brain is much more flexible than people think.
Yes, that flexibility is called neuroplasticity. It means your brain can change at any age.
So no, you're not too old to learn English. Your brain didn't expire.
Exactly. Your brain changes based on repetition. Whatever you practice gets stronger.
And whatever you ignore gets weaker. Just like muscles.
That's why negative self-talk is so dangerous. If you keep saying, I'm bad at English, your brain believes it.
Yes. Your brain doesn't argue. It just accepts repetition as truth.
That's why affirmations actually work. Not because of magic, but because of repetition.
So instead of saying, I can't speak English, say, I am improving my English every day.
Even if you don't fully believe it yet, say it anyway. Because belief follows action.
Exactly.
Another powerful tool is visualization. Have you ever imagined yourself speaking confidently before actually doing it?
Yes, and it helps more than people realize. The brain doesn't fully distinguish between imagination and experience.
Right. Athletes use this all the time. They visualize winning before winning.
So why not visualize success in English? Picture yourself having a conversation, speaking calmly, understanding clearly.
That mental rehearsal builds confidence before real practice even begins.
Now let's talk about confidence, because many people think confidence comes first, then action.
But it's actually the opposite. Action comes first, confidence comes later.
Confidence is a result, not a requirement.
When I first spoke English publicly, my voice was shaking. My grammar wasn't perfect, but I survived.
And that survival builds confidence.
Exactly. Every small win tells your brain, I can do this.
And those small wins add up. Confidence grows quietly.
Let's talk about another enemy, comparison.
Oh yes, that one hurts. People compare their beginning to someone else's middle.
Exactly. They see fluent speakers and think, I'll never be like that.
But they don't see the years of practice behind that fluency. The mistakes, the awkward moments.
Everyone starts somewhere. No one wakes up fluent.
And social media makes this worse. We only see highlights.
That's why you should only compare yourself to your past self. Are you better than yesterday, even 1%? If yes, you're winning.
Let's talk about fear again, because fear never fully disappears. But courage is acting despite fear.
Yes, bravery is not lack of fear. It's movement with fear.
And each time you act, fear loses a little power.
That's why exposure works. Speak more, fear less.
Make mistakes more, fear less.
Exactly. And the final mindset shift I want to mention is patience.
Yes, patience is underrated. People quit because results are slow.
But slow progress is still progress. Invisible progress is still progress.
Just because you don't see results today doesn't mean nothing is happening.
Seeds grow underground first before they break the surface.
That's such a good metaphor. Learning English is the same.
So, if you're listening right now and you feel stuck, remember this. Your brain can change. Your mindset can shift. And progress is happening.
Even when it feels slow. In the next part, we need to talk about action and why waiting for the perfect moment is a trap.
Yes. Part 4 is all about starting before you're ready and why imperfect action changes everything.
Stay with us, because this next part might be the push.
All right, Emily. Now this is the part where things get real, because mindset is powerful, but nothing changes without action.
Absolutely, John. This is where most people struggle the most. They understand everything we talked about, but they still don't move.
Exactly. They listen to podcasts, they watch videos, they feel motivated for a moment, and then nothing happens.
That hit a little too close to home. I think many listeners can relate to that.
Yes, and the main reason is procrastination, not laziness, but fear disguised as waiting.
That's such an important distinction. People don't say, "I'm afraid." They say, "I'll start tomorrow."
Exactly. Tomorrow sounds safe. Tomorrow doesn't require courage.
But tomorrow never comes. It just turns into another today.
Let's be honest. Most people are waiting for the perfect moment. More time, more confidence, more knowledge.
More motivation, more energy.
But the perfect moment is a myth. It doesn't exist.
If you wait until you feel ready, you'll wait forever.
That's why this idea is so important. Action comes before clarity.
Yes. People think they need clarity before starting, but clarity comes from doing.
When I started improving my English, I didn't have a clear plan. I just started speaking.
And it was uncomfortable. And messy.
Very messy. But each conversation taught me something new.
That's how clarity grows, through experience.
Let's talk about a concept I love. Imperfect action.
Yes. Done is better than perfect.
Exactly. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy outfit.
That's so true. Perfection feels productive, but it actually stops progress.
People say, I'll speak when my grammar is perfect. I'll apply when I feel confident. I'll start when I know everything.
But perfection is a moving target. You never reach it.
Meanwhile, life keeps moving.
Opportunities pass, confidence stays low.
That's why imperfect action is powerful. It breaks the cycle.
You act, you learn, you adjust.
And suddenly, you're moving forward.
Let's make this very practical for English learners listening right now. What does imperfect action look like?
It looks like speaking with mistakes. It looks like pausing to find words. It looks like saying, sorry, can you repeat that?
And that's okay, because communication matters more than perfection.
Exactly. Native speakers make mistakes too. They forget words, they change sentences halfway.
Language is not math, it's communication.
Another big reason people don't take action is overwhelm.
Yes. People think they need to do everything at once, study grammar, learn vocabulary, practice speaking.
And that feels heavy, so they do nothing.
That's why we always say, make it small.
Very small. So small you can't say no.
5 minutes of practice, 1 conversation, 1 page.
Small actions reduce resistance. And once you start, momentum kicks in.
Momentum is magic, not motivation.
Yes. Motivation is unreliable. Momentum is built.
You don't wait for motivation, you create it through action.
Let's talk about identity, because action shapes identity.
Oh, this is powerful. Every action is a vote for the person you want to become.
When you practice English today, you're voting for, I am an English learner.
And over time, those votes add up.
You stop trying to learn English and you become someone who learns English.
That shift is everything. It removes pressure.
Because it's no longer about results, it's about identity.
Now, let's talk about excuses, because we all have them.
Not enough time, too tired, too busy.
But the truth is, we make time for what matters.
5 minutes exists. Scrolling exists.
That's painfully true. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to be consistent.
Consistency beats intensity. Every single time.
That's how habits are formed. That's how confidence grows.
So if you're listening right now, ask yourself, what is one small action I can take today?
Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Maybe it's speaking one sentence. Maybe it's listening to 5 minutes of English.
Whatever it is, do it imperfectly. Do it scared, but do it.
Because action creates belief, and belief creates change.
In the final part, we're going to talk about environment and how the people and content around you can either push you forward or hold you back.
Yes. Part 5 ties everything together and shows how to build a life that supports growth.
Stay with us, because this last part is where transformation becomes sustainable.
All right. Now we've talked about mindset. We've talked about action. But there's one final piece that makes change sustainable.
Yes, because even with the best mindset and habits, your environment can either support you or silently sabotage you.
Exactly. Most people underestimate how powerful environment really is.
They think success is only about discipline, but discipline struggles in the wrong environment.
Let's start with people, because the people around you shape your behavior.
There's a famous quote, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with."
If the people around you complain, avoid responsibility, and never try to improve, that mindset slowly becomes normal.
But if you surround yourself with learners, people who take action, people who talk about growth,
Growth becomes normal. Effort becomes normal.
that's why community matters so much, especially when learning a language.
Learning English alone is hard, but learning with others, that changes everything.
You feel supported. You feel understood. You realize you're not alone.
When I joined an English learning community, my progress accelerated, not because I studied more, but because I practiced more.
And because mistakes felt safe. Nobody judged. Everyone was learning.
That's the power of the right environment. It lowers fear and increases consistency.
Let's talk about another part of environment, the content you consume.
Yes, what you watch, what you listen to, what you scroll through every day.
All of it trains your brain, whether you realize it or not.
If your feed is full of negativity, complaints, and fear-based content,
Your mindset will reflect that.
but if you fill your environment with positive input, educational content, inspiring stories,
Your thinking starts to shift naturally. You don't force motivation, you absorb it.
that's why podcasts are powerful. You can learn while walking, driving, or doing daily tasks.
Small exposure every single day.
Now let's talk about removing friction, making good habits easier.
Yes, instead of relying on willpower, design your environment.
If you want to practice English, keep your materials visible. Apps on your home screen, English notes nearby, reminders where you can see them, and reduce distractions. Less unnecessary notifications, less mindless scrolling.
Environment design is silent discipline. It works even when motivation is low.
Another powerful element is accountability. When someone knows your goal,
You're more likely to follow through because humans want to be consistent.
tell a friend, join a group, comment on a post.
Say it out loud.
I'm learning English.
That identity becomes real, public.
And once identity is public, action follows more easily.
Let's bring everything together. Change doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from alignment.
Mindset, action, environment.
When these three work together, change becomes natural,
Not forced, not exhausting.
sustainable, and repeatable.
So if you're listening right now, here's your final reflection. Ask yourself, does my environment support the person I want to become?
If not, what's one small change you can make today?
Maybe it's following one positive account. Maybe it's joining one learning group.
Maybe it's reducing one negative influence.
Small changes compound, just like habits.
And remember, you don't need a new life. You need a better system.
One that supports growth, even on hard days.
That's how real transformation happens. Not through motivation, but through alignment.
And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you for spending this time with us.
If this episode helped you, share it with someone who needs it.